I want to get into something that makes people think a little bit, get the brain going, get the talks and the discussions out there about what is reality, what is technology, and what is it doing to us. And as you actually told me about this, you texted me the other day and you said, and I'll quote from your text right there, you're like, "Toe, that Black Mirror crazy."
Exactly.
And I said, I agree.
I didn't put the show is in there.
No, you did not, man. You said, that Black Mirror show. Oh, I think you did. Maybe I misquoted you. That Black Mirror show is crazy.
Exactly.
Came in the other night, my wife was watching it, and I'm glad that she said, "Hey, sit down and watch this with me. This is pretty good."
And she didn't say his show is crazy.
Yeah, I said it actually. Crazy stuff happening again. Come see it.
I came in and she looked at me and said, "Baby, Black Mirror show is crazy." For one, has been said to or compared to being a modern day Twilight Zone, except maybe this hits a little bit closer to home because unlike the Twilight Zone, which used metaphors of science fiction, fantasy, horror, to do that for social commentary, Black Mirror, you could say it's fictional, but they say that, hey, you know something, in some form or another, some of these things may actually not be too far away in the future to becoming reality. This has become one of my favorite shows because I am a fan of the Twilight Zone, and I'm also somebody who makes a living at doing streaming and social media and YouTube and all that. It kind of hits very close to home for me. You're telling me about it. You didn't tell me any details of any of the episodes, but you did kind of sound. You sounded very enthusiastic about that first episode.
I like Black Mirror, just like for the reason that you kind of put out there. When they do a lot of episodes, they push a lot of it to the future, but not that crazy, 3,000, pushing. They kind of push it maybe 4 or 5 years, even 6 years into the future. A lot of them. I know some of them go kind of further in some stories, but the fact that they kind of keep it to a semblance to what we are used to right now is what keeps it kind of relevant and keeps it kind of fresh and cool when you look at it, because you can see like, wow, they're not too far off from what could possibly happen to us.
Yeah.
And with this episode in particular, it was very interesting to say the least, coming from people that play video games, and the story just was going one linear way, and in a flash it flipped on you, like, oh, what the hell? What did this happen?
And that episode is called Striking Vipers. Now,
yes,
the thing with this particular episode right here, and I just showed you one trailer, but I'm gonna show you just a little bit more of this one. And it's very short, and I want to show it to you because one, I want to show you how much they're not revealing, which leads me to my next point, which is we might have somewhat of a spoiler type discussion. We're not going to give everything away, but it really is hard not to talk about this, baby, without mentioning some of the very early twists that happen in this. And let's go and take a look, and I'll elaborate a little bit more after this.
There's something going on.
Something going on.
That's what I said.
So it's looking like technology is leading this happy suburban family into a situation of infidelity. You see the whole thing play out like we usually do. Lust is gone from the marriage. Family life kind of made things boring. You're just waiting to have a kid, maybe another one. And, when that stuff starts to happen, people start looking for other means of excitement. We got Anthony Mackie as Danny. And that's his friend right there, Carl, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen. And what seems like is going to be the typical story of infidelity is, if you watch this, you're already getting thrown off, because when we get into the episode, we see both of them years earlier, and they're typical bros, man. They're playing video games all night, waking up their girlfriends and wives and being rowdy and whatnot. The game that they're playing is the title of the show, Striking Vipers. They actually play. They have their favorite characters. Carl likes to play Roxette, female character. Meanwhile, Danny, he's more of a Lance type guy. You know, the dude right there. And they're both Asian, by the way. And
I don't know if the girl is Asian.
She's I think she's half Asian. She's in what you call it, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mantis. She plays Mantis.
Yeah, Mantis. Yeah. We have Danny. He's so boring. He got himself some nerd glasses. He wears button-up shirts now.
Why you say that?
Well, that's what
they have glasses. They're boring.
No, they gave him boring ass glasses. I didn't make the show, baby. They said, look, you know, he's pure dad now. Nothing exciting about him. And the biggest thing is he's kind of lost track of Carl. You know, they don't hang out as much as they used to. They don't see each other as much as they used to. But then Carl comes back around, and here's where we're getting to spoiler territory, people. So don't say I didn't warn you. When Carl shows up for Danny's birthday, of course, Danny being, I said, played by Anthony Mackie right there. He brought their favorite game, Striking Vipers, what they used to play back in the day. Except this time, it's not the game that they used to play, you know, because technology advances so quickly. It's been 11 years. It's been 11 years because technology advances so quickly. It ain't just you're not just sitting back playing this typical fighting game that's, of course, kind of a Tekken style game. Nah, man, we've gone to virtual reality right now. When you get into the game, when every punch that you take to the face, you feel it. Every kick that you take to the ass or the chest, you feel that. Every kiss or sexual act that you wait a minute, what?
Exactly. That's when it flipped.
That's when it flipped. The guys go in and they are playing the game and they're playing as these characters. And at some point, and I saw it coming, and I don't know, once they mentioned that every sensation can be felt, I was like, oh, every sensation? I said, these dudes are going to make out as these characters because they are really, really getting into it. Like, they're getting way more physical fighting in this game than the actual fighting skills require. And I like the way I was going to tell you, my wife, she had, I knew she was going to do it. She had to say, she said, yeah, that's just like you and Martin. If you were playing this game, I said, don't put that image in my head.
Why you say don't put it? Like, if you want to feel how it feels like, you know, do the empathy, you got to think that way. I mean, you can think about us as well. Which one you prefer? Sitting
up there making out with some hot chick wearing Martin's hat. What you doing this weekend? I was like, both y'all quit playing. That's where we get to where people are criticizing this. Because let me just, I said this before, let me say it right now. The reason why I'm talking about this is because this has been getting criticized, not by a lot of people. I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. I read about 2 or 3 articles, you know, some reviews or some just kind of talking about the piece itself or the episode itself, and they were kind of upset with the episode because they didn't think it went far enough.
What?
Talking about they don't think it went far enough when they were talking about male homosexuality. Some people have said that they didn't push it far enough to explore this area right here. They kind of glossed over it. They went for the predictable. They went for what was easy. And
predictable.
I gotta say, I completely disagree. And not only do I disagree, but this is one of the few times that because this sounds so arrogant when you say it, but I dare say that I'm gonna go on a limb here and say, personally, I believe that some people didn't get it when they say it did not go far enough within the area of homosexuality. I want to say, first of all, before anybody gets mad and they're thinking that I'm saying I don't want to see the homosexuality because I don't want to see some gay shit. All right, maybe I'm somebody like I'm getting tired of hearing about gay issues. No, that's not it. Believe me, I get why people would feel like this isn't exploring homosexuality enough for them. I get why people wanted to go that way. I get why people are upset that it didn't. Because, you know, the obvious answer, of course, is that, you know, the gay struggle is real, man. It's very real. The gay struggle, the denial of gay rights and the gay struggle is very topical. People want to see that explored because people, you know, if for nothing else, just to continue to bring these important issues to the foreground. I understand, man. And not only that, but the episode, it centers on, as you've been seeing right here, it centers on 2 black men. and not just black man. I'm talking about superhero black. So you know, one's the Falcon, one's the Black Manta from Aquaman. From Aquaman. The reason why I bring that up is because they want to push across that these dudes are very masculine. It's always been a problem, the acceptance of homosexuality with black males, because it's still a problem in the black community because of religion, for one, but more so for reasons I won't go into, but it, you know, homosexuality is seen by a lot of men and within the black community as a threat to their black masculinity. To get whatever is they're trying to put in, and you need to talk to the writers and directors and see where their standpoint is. Me watching is when it got to that point, you know, the whole crux of it wasn't just like, oh my God, they're gay. Oh, yeah, that wasn't the case. It was the case where it's like, wow, okay, are they gay? You know, was that a big deal? I don't think it was a big deal. I just think it was just getting to the bottom of, okay, you guys are presenting us with a situation where you know, these guys are heterosexual. Now is it the case where are they going to flip, or are they going to stay this way? So now that's where the intriguement starts now, right? Are they going to try to live these double lives, or are they going to be their true nature? Are they going to be their true selves? Right. Yeah. That's what I thought was kind of cool about it. But then it got to a fuzzy and a gray area as they start to, you know, explore themselves through the game. Yeah. And it became a thing where it's like, okay, do they enjoy each other, or are they enjoying each other through this game, this love of this game that they have? You know, are they expressing it through these characters, and that's where it stays, or do they want to take it even further? I think that's where the real intrigue comes from. I didn't feel like anything missing, because the whole point wasn't about like only homosexuality or something. I think it was more like that was a part of it, but other than that, like, is this real or not? Is this cheating or not? Is this something like porn, or this is something else? And in modern life, is marriage should go like the traditional way, or should people look for different ways? And is it okay to do it or not? There are so many things they're talking about. It's not only homosexuality; it's just one part of it. Now, that's a great point, because there was so many other things to explore besides the homosexual aspect. You made a great point saying, what is cheating? At what point, because that could even relate to today, at what point does porn go to, you know, when you're so into it, at what point are you actually mentally maybe cheating on somebody? Or maybe not, I don't know. And they were even discussing, like, what is commitment? What is marriage? What is there are so many questions. What is technology? What is all... I think these things. For me, I think they covered that so well. You know, that's what I think that was the whole the thing that kind of glued everything together with this episode. You're absolutely right, Mia. It brought up all those other questions that, you know, were right there in everybody's face. What I really thought is, if we're going to enter an age, man, where if things are going like we say they are, if virtual reality is going to be a thing at some point, maybe it's not popping off like people thought it would today, but at some point, are we going to be going into virtual worlds? Are we going to start becoming virtual people with different identities? I think that, you know, with this, what they were talking about is that VR sex might be something that we can't even define at this point. Listen, that's kind of happening now, even through social media, man. You know, when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you get their phone number, you get the email, and you get, you know, their profile on Facebook or Instagram. And at that point, you look through their history to see what they've been doing. And you make your decision from those as well. That becomes part of, you know, your ID now. And you know, in the show, they listen, if you want something gay out of it, I like that they didn't push it. It's there if you want. I love that you have to kind of take clues. So I was talking to you about this yesterday. I said, you know, Carl Abdul Mateen, that was his name. They say if you look at it, he might have gay tendencies. The guy, if you watch the episode again, the guy, he kind of plays too much. He's that kind of guy that crosses I remember that part you're talking about. He's the guy that crosses the line. When you're playing, he's always kind of swatting at your dick. You know, he's the kind of guy that just, like, he'll start humping you for no reason. You know, he's like, like, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, you know, I'm good, man. I'm good. Get the f off me, man. You know, it's like... need a water bottle for this guy. Yeah, man. You know, he's... if you watch the show and take certain hints, he's very physical. He's very playful. in a physical way. He dresses really dapper. He keeps his body up. He keeps his body nice, but it never.
He's dating with good-looking young chicks, but shallow.
But kind of shallow with it, exactly. You know, but there's never a point where his actions define him as gay. They leave that up to the viewer to decide whether those are clues that he was dropping right there. Is he just a kind of a metrosexual and, you know, kind of touchy-feely guy? Once they start doing that thing in VR, he says that it is the best sex that he ever had. And that's the thing, man. These two are having sex as their characters in the game. And one of the things that he says is that I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about you that I have the best sex ever. There's a point in here where he says, shit, I a polar bear.
The polar
it's been trending on the social media as well. This guy's picture with a polar bear.
Yeah.
You've seen that everywhere.
I think what it's trying to say is they're not trying to explore some homosexuality here, a homosexual issue. What they're trying to do is talk about we're beyond that definition of being straight, of being gay. What they're doing is they're talking about what happens when you start having sex in an area that you never did before, and you can't even define at that point because you don't know what it is. Nobody's defined it for you.
He asked like, how does it feel like being in a woman's body? And he just says like, oh, this is different, this is awesome, and all that stuff. So like, I was even thinking like, the married one is asking that. So since this is not real, you know, since this doesn't mean anything, why wouldn't you try a woman's body once and see how it feels like? But he never does.
No, he never does. But it's again, you bring up those things.
So I think it's not that unreal.
Well, it's not unreal. But again, it's not. Is it a gay thing, or is it because he's married and the other guy's not married? And he's just kind of like, well, I can try anything, you know.
What's the point being married if you think this is not cheating? If you think this doesn't mean anything, then you can.
But see, that's your point. But then again, some people have these weird boundaries that they set up for themselves.
He felt something was wrong the way that he was going into the room. He's locking the door. He's making sure he's checking behind him. Yeah, so he knew he was doing something crazy.
Even the first time they did it, it was like, oh man, we were drunk, you know. It was just that one time, but they couldn't stop, you know, because not only does it question what virtual reality will do to our perception of sex in ways that we can't predict, but I think it also brings up the question of what is sexual compatibility. You know, I mean, is it beyond the physical? Because, you know, these two characters when we see them, you know, they're playing the regular game. They're acting like, you know, they're just two guys having fun, just like guys do. They're straight, you know, they're straight dudes and they're straight friends in the real world. But when they're when they're in this area, when they start playing this game, do their minds connect in a way that just, and I'm not talking about like psychically or anything, like do they just see something in each other that transcends what they had, you know, when they were in the physical? And, you know, do their minds work differently when they have an illusion set up in front of them?
Those parts were a little bit like, I have questions with them because like sex is not like, it's not only your mind and stuff, like it's chemistry too. You taste the person, your sweat, your everything. And in that game, so you don't have your own body. So do you have any kind of chemistry? So how do you feel it? You just put this little thing on your forehead. So does it work with your neurons? If they work with your neurons, like how the chemistry part, how does it, you know, like do you taste that chick or do you taste that guy who's playing, you know?
Yeah,
a lot of questions. Yeah. What is what are you actually feeling?
Yeah, like what are you feeling? Are you tasting that chick you're having sex with, or are you tasting the guy who's playing that chick, you know?
Yeah, you got a raging hard on as you playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and you know, but that's the other thing is like I don't, you know, there are sensations in the game that you feel. So who knows how far those sensations go? Of course, this is a show, so we don't know what liberties they're taking. But the other thing is, did they connect on an emotional level within this fantasy world that wasn't there before? Isn't it, you know, and is the emotion really driving them to have this great sex? You know, I mean, who knows what is tapping into in your brain? Yeah. And then again, could it be that, you know, this guy he really is feels trapped in a way, and he can't. He's looking for something. He still loves his wife and everything, but he's looking for something, and he doesn't know what he's looking for. And this is his escape right here.
What about the single guy though?
But he
doesn't have to escape anything.
But he's empty because he has nothing. You know, he can't really connect with anybody like he thought, because maybe he's like some guy who just has sex without real emotion in it. You know, again, this is not defined, which is why I thought this was great, because you can go in and kind of pick these things out of there without them laying it on too heavy. I think a lot of people wanted this stuff laid on really clear for them, and I thought that this was a great episode because those things aren't laid out for you.
You hit it on the head. That's what's so cool about this episode, is that it leans certain ways. It doesn't fall over. You know what I mean? It leans towards, okay, maybe it's a little bit of this. Okay, well, no, we're swaying back. Maybe it's a little bit of this, you know, and there's no definitive answer of who's gay, who's not gay, who's in a relationship, who thinks they are. You know, they keep bending it back and forth, and they keep you in this loop to keep having you ask these different questions about what's going on. We're heading towards this thing.
Yeah,
you know,
what happens if you
we're going to get here?
Yeah,
you know, how are we going to start to define this?
Yeah, I've always thought, like, sometime in the future, is it going to be a thing where that doesn't matter what's on the outside world? I am a 21-year-old viral male, you know, who you know, I love women, but then I go into VR, and all of a sudden I meet some 80-year-old man who's playing as a hot chick, and I really want that. That's what I want. And we and this 80-year-old man keep meeting each other. I know that for this they had again two black males, and a lot of people love to see that angle of homosexuality explored with them. I think they used it to contrast what from the characters, to make them as different from the characters that they play. You have here Ludi Lin as Lance. I wonder if that's a real name, Ludi Lin, but Bloody Lin, and then Palm Clintiff, who, as I say, you saw in Guardians of the Galaxy as what is that name? Mantis.
Mantis,
who was Roxette, and Lance is the other guy. You know, I think they chose two big masculine dudes who also were black, so they could like look as different as they would from these characters right here, which I think worked, man.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, because at that point, you just seeing these two totally different characters. The part that kind of messes with your mind is that knowing that, okay, the person behind Roxette is a guy.
Yeah.
You know, if you did not know that, and they kind of threw that at the end, you'd be like, holy crap.
And think about that. Think about if you didn't know, if you watched the whole movie where it was these two characters, the Asian playable characters in the game. If you watched that and it was those two characters, and you went through the whole movie with them, and their romance was great, would it change your perception of how you would feel if you hadn't seen these two dudes beforehand?
Yeah.
You know, you might think like, shit, I get it. They got this great romance. I mean, man, I guess I would be doing it too if I found something that special. You know, it's really hard to. This is what Black Mirror is supposed to do, and I'm glad it wasn't one of the darker episodes, because the darker episodes I like the dark episodes, but I think they're the ones that, you know, they're kind of for, you know, for a little bit of shock too. I find that some of these episodes that deal with love and intimacy and sex, those are the ones that really get you thinking, man. I like to, even though I saw it coming, because once they start fighting and they start talking about sensation, like, they're gonna start. I knew it.
Listen, every time you get virtual reality and a female, it's over.
Yeah,
sex is happening.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit. Oz, I hate to tell you, man, if you were playing the girl that fine in the game, because you know how these girls are in these games, man, because this is taken from tech. This is taken from Tekken right here. Oz, don't play with me and pick some chick with an ass like that. You know? I mean, what we do outside the game, what we do, but I'm gonna try to hit up on you a little bit when you looking like that.
But the chicks keep calling you like, "Hey, player, what's up, son?"
But she would be saying it like, "Hey, player, what's up, son?" That's still hot.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my voice. It'd be that girl's voice.
Voice, but the way he talks, because like in the show, like, she talks like, "That was awesome." Like, it's a girl's voice, but the way she's just the guy talks,
she's just kind of like a fine ass tomboy. I'm telling you, if we playing this game and you look like this, I'm gonna try to you, Oz. I'm just like, you know, shit, I'm gonna at least give it a try. You know, you can tell me no.
That pose right there.
Yeah, no, there you look, you actually, man, you asking for it, man. You posing for me. Look at you.
Always they play with the same characters and stuff, you know, like if I was in them, I would be like, yeah, this time you be Roxanne, I'll be Lance. Next time I'm gonna be the polar bear and let's try it.
No, they had their characters. Well, you know,
I mean, it's a fucking game, so try different things, right?
Well, and you know, in games, people learn. They put a lot of work getting those combos and special moves down. They invest their time in it, so I get it.
They don't fight.
No, you don't, babe. I'm telling you. And plus, you know, when you look at Oz, he keeps playing the same character. He put a lot of work in that body and that wardrobe. You know what I mean? A lot of time went into that. Because, you know, people, when we play these games, I would like to have seen what it's like, the effect of us playing different characters in games, especially in games like this. We spent a lot of time with these characters. But then again, I get it. That was not the point. That was, you know, that was not what they were trying to explore right there. Yeah, but you know, but yeah, man. I can't tell what people didn't like it. I can't tell them, you know, that they didn't get it. I do feel like they missed something if they're asking for that angle. And you know, then I'm not gonna criticize anybody if they were looking for that. Maybe there's something there that could have been explored from a homosexual angle. I just felt like that would have been. Well, people say it was. I read one thing where they say it was narrow-minded.
Oh Jesus! All right,
too focused. I got
narrow-minded.
Yeah,
I think if they focused on homosexuality,
that would have been narrow-minded.
That would be narrow-minded because they were trying to explore a lot of different things.
Yeah, exactly. That's just me, though, man. You know, I just. I think that I think the episode did the subject matter a big service, man, by not putting everything.
Yeah, most of these Black Mirror episodes are trying to make you think anyways. So like this made us think about it. That's all they want to do anyways, right?
I think this episode, hands down, for me, is definitely one of the best episodes I've seen on TV. One of them, because just the way, you know, it's shocked, and then it asks all these questions, and you're still thinking about it after you're done. It was very well done.
Let's put the homosexuality stuff aside and think about other stuff too. Like, what did you think, Oz, about the commitment, and what did you think if it's cheating or not? How did you feel about it?
It goes back to what Corey says. You know, whatever you define commitment to you. You know, I think when you start hiding things from your spouse and started sneaking around doing things, I think that is a level of infidelity right there. You know, if you're not able to share what's going on, you got to hide stuff, especially when it comes to, you know, dealing with other people and your emotions, and you start hiding things, and, you know, that could be looked at as, you know, cheating in a way. Yeah. You know, the physical act of cheating, I don't think so. You know, it's through this thing. They're not really doing anything, you know, physical with each other. The actual act. But if you start to hide that stuff,
it's like porn?
That's what I think. That's when you start to cross the line emotionally at that point.
Yeah.
You know.
So there you go. So you and I can hook up and she won't be mad about it. Thank you for sticking with us to the end of the video. Now I never want you to leave, so hit that subscribe button. And if you really love what we do, check out our main site, doubletoasted.com. Over there you'll find the long-form version, uncensored, unedited version of this video right here, along with the live stream we do almost every night of the week. Support us at dtmerch.com. And remember to always stay toasty.